Diddy offered secret deal to snitch on Jay-Z. The billion-dollar empire. Now at risk. Massive twist in the Diddy trial. Insiders say the feds just offered Diddy a plea deal to snitch on none other than Jay-Z. And now word is, Jay-Z is seriously worried he might be called to testify. As this explosive case unfolds, one thing is becoming crystal clear. Diddy wasn't working alone. And the deeper investigators dig, the more Jay-Z's name keeps surfacing. Some sources are even claiming that the real mastermind behind Diddy's trafficking ring could be someone far more powerful. And all fingers are pointing straight at Jay-Z. In a shocking turn, it's now being rumored that Jay-Z is prepping to flip on Diddy to protect his billion-dollar empire. And if he falls, insiders say Beyoncé's name could get dragged down too. Now, the exact details of Diddy's plea deal haven't gone public yet. But those close to the situation revealed something huge. The feds allegedly wanted Diddy to admit to crimes that involved Jay-Z. Even crazier? Jay-Z reportedly advised Diddy to reject the deal, possibly fearing what might come out if Diddy talked. But here's the key. Diddy said no. He's refusing to be labeled a rat, because in his world, rats don't survive behind bars. This is more than a case now. It's a war of silence, power, and survival. And the industry is shaking.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars if convicted on trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Kotursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracies, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged drug-fueled sexual activity that he called freakoffs and threatening them into silence.
This isn't the first time Diddy and Jay-Z have been linked to serious crimes. In fact, both music moguls have a dark history of violence, abuse, and silencing anyone who dares to speak out. Let's go back to 1999, a year that exposed just how dangerous these two really were. Jay-Z actually pleaded guilty to third-degree assault after stabbing record executive Lance "Un" Rivera in a shocking nightclub attack. That violent outburst made headlines and marked Jay-Z as someone not to cross. Meanwhile, Diddy was caught up in a nightclub shooting that same year, a scandal that rocked the industry and raised major questions about his lifestyle, his circle, and his silence. Now in 2025, with federal prosecutors digging deeper than ever, both names are back under fire, and the pattern is hard to ignore. These aren't just celebrity scandals. These are decades-long power plays fueled by violence, fear, and control. And this time, they may not be able to escape the fallout.
The top rap star is busted.
Jay-Z turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
Kimberly Richardson is at Midtown South right now. Kimberly.
Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night. But just a few moments ago, Carter's attorney had this to say.
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved in this.
So it was someone else that did the stabbing and the hitting.
I didn't say that. I said he was not involved in it.
Now, Slovis goes on to say that at no time was Jay-Z hiding from the police, that they were in touch with cops all day and that they're trying to resolve this as gentlemen. But as Mike Sheehan shows us, others say they've seen the dark side of Jay-Z.
I have my faults, I'm not a perfect.
He and Jay-Z named in lawsuit. Victim vanishes after alleged threats. Just a few months ago, both Diddy and Jay-Z were officially named as defendants in a chilling lawsuit. But what unfolded next has shaken even the most hardened insiders and raised one burning question. How far does their power really reach? According to explosive insider claims, the woman who filed the case suddenly dropped it, right after Jay-Z allegedly made a direct threat. This bombshell move came just days after he released a cold, dismissive public statement brushing off the case like it was nothing. But wait, the plot thickens. As the pressure mounted, Diddy pulled a slick move. Citing a medical emergency, he slipped out of jail and into a hospital bed. What happened next? A few quiet phone calls, and within 1 week, the case vanished. Gone. Like it never happened. Coincidence? Or a covert power play to erase the truth? The timing is too perfect. The actions, too precise. And the message? Crystal clear. Challenge Diddy or Jay-Z. And the system folds.
And a new twist in a high-profile lawsuit accuses rapper Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The lawsuit, originally filed in October, was refiled today to include Jay-Z as a defendant. The anonymous accuser claims the assault occurred at an MTV Video Music Awards after-party. Jay-Z has denied the allegations in a statement on Roc Nation's Instagram, calling the accusations heinous and urging a criminal complaint be filed instead of a civil one. He also criticized the attorney behind the lawsuit, Tony Busby, accusing him of exploiting the case for personal gain.
Jay-Z and Beyoncé named. An explosive new lawsuit tied to Diddy's dark past, just weeks before Diddy's criminal trial was set to begin. Another shocking civil lawsuit exploded onto the scene. And this time, it names Jay-Z and Beyoncé directly. Filed in Florida on April 1st, the case was brought by Joseph Manzaro, who makes horrifying claims. According to the suit, he was drugged, abducted, and sexually mutilated, all as part of a coercive, organized criminal enterprise allegedly led by Diddy and his inner circle. But the real shocker? Joseph claims that at the time of this brutal abuse, which allegedly occurred during a 2015 freak-off party, both Jay-Z and Beyoncé were present. Let that sink in, not just associated, present. The lawsuit paints a picture of a nightmarish world behind the glitz and glamour, where power protects predators and victims are left voiceless. And for those keeping count, this isn't the first time Jay-Z's name has come up in connection with Diddy's underground world. And by the looks of it, it won't be the last. The walls are closing in. And the elite? They're no longer untouchable.
Sean Diddy Combs is facing new accusations of human trafficking as he awaits his federal trial. In a civil case filed in Florida April 1st, Joseph Manzaro alleges, according to court documents obtained by E! News, that he was drugged, transported against his will, and sexually maimed as a victim of a coercive and organized criminal enterprise facilitated by Combs and others back in 2015. And names celebs such as Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and LeBron James as witnesses in the lawsuit. In his filing, Manzaro says the alleged events took place in April 2015. He states that he lost consciousness after feeling a, quote, greasy substance resembling Vaseline as he opened the front door to his home, after which he says he was transported to another residence, where an associate of Combs allegedly told him that the music mogul wanted him brought to a freak-off event. Manzaro alleges in the suit he was secretly transferred to the music producer's home through a concealed tunnel allegedly connected to Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan's Miami property. He alleges that upon regaining partial consciousness, he found himself inside a large party area upon information and belief that it was a birthday party for Combs' then 17-year-old son Christian Combs. There, he was allegedly forced to appear in a penis mask. The lawsuit states, Jay-Z and Beyoncé Knowles Carter were seated in the room, and upon seeing Manzaro, Beyoncé Knowles Carter asked, "What's this? What's this all about? Why is this half-naked white man with a penis mask standing here in front of me?" Manzaro alleges in the lawsuit that he was then forcibly paraded through multiple rooms filled with people who were jeering and taunting him.
High-profile individuals, including Jacob Arabo, Jay-Z, Gloria Estefan, LeBron James, and Beyoncé Knowles Carter, are identified as witnesses due to their presence or knowledge of the events surrounding the freakoff orchestrated by defendant Diddy. Wow. And freakoff, of course, is something that we've heard many times before, both in Combs' criminal case and other civil cases, to describe these prolonged sexual episodes, usually with sex workers. But Manzaro is suing Sean Combs. He is suing a man named Eric Mejias. He is suing Brendan Paul, who's been described in another lawsuit as Sean Combs' drug mule, Emilio Estefan, who is married to pop superstar Gloria Estefan, and Adria English, who filed her own lawsuit against Sean Combs, claiming she too was a victim of sex trafficking. By the way, it's interesting he's not suing these other celebrities that I mentioned, like Jay-Z and Beyoncé and Gloria Estefan, possibly because he doesn't believe their alleged liability amounted to a civil claim, but seems to want to call them as witnesses at a trial, although I have to imagine they will do everything in their power to quash any subpoena should this case progress, and we'll talk a little bit more about whether or not it will.
Jay-Z has officially responded. And as expected, he's denying everything.
That alleged freak-off reportedly happened in 2015 at both Gloria and husband Emilio Estefan's Miami mansion and Diddy's. That's where a new accuser claims he was sexually assaulted and humiliated by Diddy. And he says Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Gloria all witnessed his abuse, but allegedly did nothing.
Okay. I don't like it at all.
Gloria and Emilio denying the claims, telling ET there were no parties thrown at that property between 2012 and 2019. The couple says they have documents to back their denial and will provide them in court if necessary.
I could not believe what I was hearing.
As for Jay-Z, his rep tells ET he wasn't in Florida at that time to witness this incident. He was engaged in the easily findable public activities that prove he was not at this event, adding, "This is more nonsense that erodes the trust in our justice system."
A lot of times people say things because they don't want to get themselves in a PR disaster. It can't be, write a check.
The new claims come months after a woman dropped a lawsuit against Jay-Z, alleging he raped her 15 years ago.
Diddy and Jay-Z, two sides of the same ruthless coin. Here's the real deal. Diddy and Jay-Z are cut from the same cloth. The only way Jay-Z would ever snitch on Diddy is if the feds caught him on tape incriminating himself. According to Gandeal, Jay-Z is just as violent and dangerous as Diddy. The only difference? Jay-Z keeps it quiet, staying under the radar, while Diddy was loud and reckless. That's exactly why Diddy got caught, because he was confessing on live TV, practically admitting guilt without holding back. Jay-Z's silence speaks volumes. But make no mistake, the darkness behind both their names runs deep.